Hey guys, what's up? Legit here, back with Legit Reviews, and I've got two cracking videos for you in mind. The first one, I'll give you a bit of a backstory for this. It's a jewelers. You're going to see some mopeds coming up, busy high street, and it's going to be a smash and grab attempted robbery. Now, it's not going to go to plan, as you're going to see. So let's play the video and we'll talk about it afterwards. Alright, that's pretty much the end of the video there. So let's relook at this and think critically about what's just happened. So let's slow this shizzle down and take another look at this. So you see three mopeds coming up to you. They're going to do a right hand turn onto the pedestrian pavement here and then swing around onto this pavement. Now you can see this girl's automatically started to get out of the way. She's thinking, what is going on here? I'm having none of that. Just before this, you would have seen some schoolgirls walking along. You can see on the other side of the road people coming away from school. Now, this first guy on this silver moped, he's ramming the security door. Most jewelers will have like a two-stage door or a door that's on like an electromagnet, so it will seal shut, so you can't have a load of people storming the jewelers at a time. What he's basically done is used his moped as a ram to force that electronic door open, so they can then get inside, steal what they want, and get out without being trapped inside. So while this has gone on, you can just see in the top corner there a concerned neighbour has seen that and has distracted them, starting to throw stuff at them. Whilst that's going on, the siege here is at the front with the orange high-vis jacket, who's hammering this front security window to try and get in and get his hands on some jewels. Now this van driver, top man's coming in and he's distracted them again. They've had two distractions whilst they're trying to do this job. You know, that's critically bad for them. They want this clean, quick and precise, and it hasn't gone that way at all so far. You know, one's got his moped stuck in the door, one's been rammed down on the ground, and the other two have and the other has just given up. So now they're going to have to run on foot. They arrived on three mopeds, they've left on one. So, you know, it's been a crap day for them, a good day for the jewelers because they've avoided this ram raid. Props off to that van driver because he did a sterling job at stopping that there, and this guy just walks into the picture like, oh, what's gone on here then? Very lucky he's turned up at the time he has and not during the actual raid. So most likely he would have been hit or threatened. So this next video comes in from Thamesmead in London. It's a very rough part of London. I live the other side of the river to it, so I hear about a lot of stuff that goes on here. Now you can see this is being filmed by a resident in a tower block, and there's a gentleman down there who's trying to steal someone's pride and joy. And there's his accomplice over there on a moped, keeping way out of the fallout zone, screaming his head off. Now people are throwing things down at this guy to try and deter him. So crockery has been thrown at him already, plates, lots more water is being thrown on top of him. Gonna get a good old smack. Bullseye shot that hit him directly on the spine. Now, you heard that holler that he made when he got hit. Look, just look at the velocity these things are travelling at when they're hitting the ground. In the news article, it was things like vases and things filled with water, so they would have really weighed down when they hit him. So he's managed to cut the chain off with this lock. He's tried to run away. At this point, the owner comes out here. Delivery rider comes after him, chases him. He gives up and he starts running. His mate's trying to catch up with him, and eventually they do get away together. Now the owner of this bike unfortunately had a write-off. The steering on it was completely damaged. It was shot to bits. The guy had cut through the disc lock whilst trying to get the chain off. So unfortunately that delivery rider lost out on his livelihood and then couldn't complete any more jobs. What important things can we learn from here? Well, the first one I would suggest is where to lock your bike. Now, not all of us have the freedom of a secure car park. Now, mine was in a secure car park. Mine was stolen by 3 teenagers, had tons of locks on it, and it took them about 10 minutes and they bump started it out. Where you lock your bike has a dramatic effect to how people are going to find it. And if they do find it, how well they're going to disguise the fact they're trying to steal it. Now, this place he hid his bike. It was covered up in a dark area next to a tree. For me, that's probably not the best place at all. You've got very light areas just beside you with those lampposts just off to the left. Now, thieves love darkness. You can't get seen, you can't be spotted, it's easy to disappear in. Now, they don't like the light. They're just like bats. You stick your bike underneath a bright lamppost, one is going to be a deterrent, alright, albeit a small one, that they're not going to want to go for it just purely because it's harder to disguise what you're doing in. Alright, he's using an angle grinder, it's going to be noisy as hell, he might not even care about that, but it's one thing that might stop potential bike thieves from stealing your bike. I think what the residents did here too was spot on. Someone's already communicated across asking if the police have been called, and another resident who's filming it has said, yep, the police have already been called. That's great. Securing proper communication between people, ensuring that the police have been called and someone has made that call and not just assuming and relying on someone else doing it, is one of the big keys that's going to clamp down on people doing this kind of stuff. All too many times, people will assume someone else will call the police. Someone else is going to do this for me. I don't have to do this. 9 times out of 10, that's not the case, and other people are panicking, reaching for their phones, not to call the police, but to record it. Now, okay, this woman, whoever's already called the police, great job. Now, what she's doing is evidential gathering for the police. It's all data that they can use. Perfect stuff. I'm so glad no one went out there to try and confront these guys. This guy down here has got an angle grinder. He's going to be trying his hardest not to get caught. And now you don't have to think twice, and he certainly won't, to use that angle grinder on you to defend himself. So absolutely legit respect to these guys up on this tower block dropping stuff down onto him, because that one would have put the fear of God into him, because he looks up, he's wearing a crash helmet, he can't see who's doing this. He doesn't know how many people are doing this to him. He's scared, he's frightened, he's timid. He's only acting big because he's got a helmet on and motorbike stuff. You know? That's the only reason he's acting big. And now his mate on the motorbike over there shouting, come down here and try that. You know, that's just laughable. That's laughable. He's not even the one in the firing zone from all this stuff, and he's mouthing off. Like, you know, it's easy to say, come on then, come down here and try that, when you're like miles away from stuff being thrown at you and, you know, you're a little pussy on a bike. This was a new one to me. I'd never seen this before now, and I'm really glad I did. It just goes to show that communities and people are working together to try and stop this thing, because it's blighted London for so long now that it's not even a rare occurrence to see this on our streets. Thamesmead is a closed, very tight-knit community. When I said it was rough earlier, I don't mean everyone that lives there is rough. By no means is everyone that lives there rough. But the stigma with that area is that it is a rough area. You've got the prison round there, Thamesmead Prison. That is one of like the worst you can go to. So you have a generation of kids growing up where their fathers, brothers, family members are going off to prison, and they're learning this gangland lifestyle from an early age. These kids, they won't have been past their 20s. They won't. I would put money on them not being over the age of 25, 26. They're teenagers just trying to get a fast buck, not really caring how they do it or who they affect. I think he could have hidden it a bit better in plain sight. He did well by putting a cover over it, absolutely. And then the next best thing is to just saturate it with locks. I don't know how many he had on this bike, but on my previous bikes, I've had at least 2 disc locks on a rear disc, and on my new bike, I've now got 2 front discs. So I have 2 disc locks per disc on the front. And then you take a chain into account on that, and you're just racking up the headache you're going to give a motorbike thief when they try and uncover your bike and steal it. Another suggestion for this motorbike owner would be to get some alarmed disc locks, because at no point then did we hear any sirens screaming. There was no alarm on that bike, not even a disc lock with one of the screaming devices in it. So get yourself some of those, possibly a tracker, and then just keep it well hidden in plain sight if you have nowhere safe to park it. Busy places are usually the best. The more people, the footfall around there, the less likely you're going to get something stolen. The quieter the street, the easier it is to commit an offence and get away with it, because no one's going to be seeing it and no one's going to be stopping you. So things to learn from this, I would suggest: 1, getting that tracker. It's going to tell you every time someone touches your bike or moves it. That's going to be your awareness. You always need to be aware of the situation you're in or your property is in, because it can change any time, and when it does, you need to know. Additionally to that, attitude. You have to have the right frame of mind going into these situations. It's going to be a fight or flight situation, and you need to know which side of that fence you're going to be on. Now, the guy that owned this bike at the end came out with the fight in him. He came out and he was not going to let his bike get taken away, and he did that. He accomplished what he wanted to do. Those guys rode off empty-handed with nothing but a massive pain in the back from that vase being dropped on him from about 50, 60 feet. What a shot, you know. I absolutely love that. I'm going to have to slow-mo that vase being dropped on him, because that is so satisfying. And possibly, if you think about it, empty-handed skills in this situation would be ideal to have. Someone commented on my last video, knowing basic martial arts is going to be a lot better for you than not knowing any form of self-defense. You're going to have a greater understanding of how people are going to react to you, and you're going to have a better understanding of how people's body language is going to be portraying what they are trying to do in that situation. So you're going to be assessing them and doing a risk assessment on what you think they're going to be doing next. That's all information that you can take up in split seconds to decide if you're going to fight or if you're going to flight. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you've got any suggestions, any tips, tricks, ideas, what would you have done in these situations, leave me a comment down below and I will get round and reply to you as soon as possible. Till next time, guys, ride safe, be careful. You've been awesome. I've been legit. Peace.